And now everybody can hear us.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
important usually.
Yep. I'm just ooh. Ooh. Ooh ooh ooh. So, where do we start? Guys, welcome to Studio Blank, the anime and manga podcast where you can find all your news, views, and reviews and all things weeb every single week. This week we're back with a special
What?
I had us playing in my ear because it unmuted, and I was very confused for a moment. Guys, we got a 0.5 episode for you here. Nate is in the process of getting ready to move, so we're taking a week without him to kind of just chill, hang out, have a 0.5 episode for you this week. And specifically, we're going to jump into the Tower of God stuff because, spoiler alert, TOG returns in mid-November to its Manhwa rotation, and I could not be more excited to spend so many coins on a series.
Oh, absolutely. I have never been more excited to see something return in my entire goddamn life.
That's impressive.
I have been
That's
waiting
impressive.
impatiently.
Oh, 100% impatiently. Anyway, where do we want to start? Because let's preface with this. We are going to nerd out, and we are going to spoil things. If you do not want TOG spoilers, beware. But I will say also, let's start kind of near the beginning. You know, like let's do like the review of season 1 into season 2 and the setup, so that we can talk about what's gone on and then jump into the fun stuff. Step number 1. I'm really surprised how well they did the anime. I'm still surprised. I am still surprised by how well they did that adaptation, especially after what we saw out of like God of High School, just because like it was like really, the pacing was really weird for a couple moments. But I'm really glad that we got what we did, how we got it, because it really felt like it breathed. And in all reality, if you hadn't read the webtoon, you wouldn't notice that there was anything missing.
Yeah, no, it was very well put together. It was well paced. It was beautifully drawn. The animation was very crisp. It just looked good.
It looked like the original too. It looked like the webtoon too, and that's why I think it went with that. They went with that style, and I'm really interested to see what happens when they transition over to season 2, because season 2 art style is not the hard lines. You know, it was very much of a different style that SIU had drawn up later, because he wrote Tower originally, the season 1 of Tower in like what,
2010.
Yeah, and it didn't appear on webtoon until 2014 or something like that.
Yeah, we didn't get webtoon in English until 2014. So by the time Tower was available to read in English, we were already 4 years behind.
Yeah.
Like his art style and his progression, and this wasn't even his first story like in universe.
Yep. That's the big thing that people need to know, is that like this isn't the first story in the Tower of God universe. Like that this is like there's 3 or 4 at least other stories that are being told throughout the universe, and like we're just getting a hint of it in Tower. So
yeah, it's wild, to be honest.
it's a lot.
I'm really excited. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. I'm so excited to see where the manhwa is going.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they're gonna have to keep and cut for season 2 though, because season 2 is a doozy.
Season 2 is incredibly long.
Season 2, like to put in perspective, we've shared memes in the Studio Blink Discord before, you know, like of how long the season actually is in season 2. Like season 1's what, 74 chapters, and thus, you know, 12 episodes ish.
Something like that.
Season 2 is 200 something.
Yeah, like season 2 takes up
like 294 ish.
I think it's 250-ish episodes.
I'm pretty sure it's close to 290
chapters.
Because I think
it's so long.
Yeah, but
It's
worth
so
though. Like that's the weird part about it, is like when you were reading it, because you and I binged it, you know, like you didn't feel like there was a noticeable break, You know, like it's just like it kept going and going and going and going, and it's not like it was a bad thing, you know, like it
Just a lot.
well, so like it felt like, you remember back when, like, you know, for example, back when we got Hunter x Hunter, right? Like it just kept going.
Yeah.
We didn't get a season break. Like we're in an anime seasonal format now, right? Like, but back in the day, like when Hunter x Hunter released, it was just all the way through.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it felt like. And not in a bad way, you know, like we've had bad versions of that. We've had the, you know, getting the shitty endings, but like, because this is an evolving story, you don't get that.
And I think like when we get season 2 of the anime, I could expect like chapters like 75 through like maybe 150, you know, or if they can find like a good stopping point around there.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look. I'm not entirely sure where like that 70 chapter limit stops. I wouldn't be surprised even if they did a 24 episode season for season 2.
Yeah.
Depending on what Crunchyroll wants to do. If Crunchyroll's doing exclusively 12 or 24, I feel like that's an interesting point, especially with this series, whether you could do a 12 or 24, just because the amount of content. Because I think, like, this is what I'm thinking about, and this is where we're going to start talking about spoilers if you haven't read the manhwa. I think if we did the 24 episode season, they would absolutely get to the workshop
The
battle.
Hell Train.
No, I don't know if they'd quite get to the Hell
Depending
Train.
on the pacing they chose.
Yeah.
They would definitely get to workshop in 24.
And I think if they did workshop and solidified it and like did like 2 episodes per like good fight and like made some addendums and let SIU have his way with like what he wanted to showcase in those fights better than he did drawing it, I think that'd be an interesting play, because we get to see, you know, not just Kun, but we get to see his brother. You know, we get to see how the different members of each family interacts in each one of these situations, which I think is a really important storyline point, and I don't want them to cut that out. You know what I mean? Because like you have members of the Ha family fighting Ha family. You have Kun showing off, and then you have like, oh, Kun's more like ice, and his brother's like totally lightning pills and bullshit. You know, like it's a whole different ball game between even similar members of the same families. Yeah, and so I don't want them to minimize that.
Yeah, I pulled up the webtoon in an attempt to like figure out.
There's a lot.
By the way, season 2 is 337 episodes long.
I was closer.
I was very positive that it was over 250, if not closer to 300.
I said like 294. I was like 294. I remember reading a 294 and being Hell Train or something. Like, you're in the Hell Train in 294. Like, I'm trying to think. So like, let's assume 74 episodes per season for a 12 episode season. So if we assume double that, there'd be 150.
150.
We do 2 whole 24 seasons.
150 episodes would put you to. They haven't even gotten on the Hell Train yet. Like, legitimately still not even on the Hell Train. I'm reading through what literally 150 chapters would be from where we currently ended. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're at Name Hunt.
That's not too far away though.
No, like it's the 39th floor. It's right before the Hell Train.
Yeah. So I feel like they could do it, especially if they did some nice cutting, but they also did nice like summarization, you know? But like I really don't want to miss out on like the workshop battle. I really don't want to miss out on Name Hunt Station, because that's just too good. Like,
Name Hunt is a really sick section.
What else? How we'd miss out on the BAM transition if they only did 12, wouldn't we? They'd get just past the workshop battle. Like, we'd miss out on BAM going back to short hair BAM.
Yeah.
Like, so there's just so much in Tower in those moments. Like, and this is why I love it, is because nothing ever feels wasted. You know?
Yeah.
Like, everything has a little point to it, even if it's not like a super big point. Like, even if it's just like a relationship between characters at some level, like everything has a point, you know? Like if they fuck it up, you're not gonna get like the endorphin rush that you and I get when we see Endorsey like talking to Bam late in the series. You know, you're like, are you just gonna man up? Like, are you just gonna? Are you like just tell him? Like I get it. Like she knows. Like she's waiting for you. You just need to figure out what the fuck you're doing. So like there's tension, and if you skip a couple of those moments early in the series, like you don't get that tension there. You know, like get to the Hell Train. Like I really don't want to miss Urek being Urek. They're not gonna put the laser dick in there. Like, and I know that, but like,
I mean, they actually could.
Yeah, but like I really don't want to miss the arc with Joe and the soul stirring ladle. Like all of those things are so good and so intricate and like matter to like Bam's character development and like him understanding things. And like, for example, they're gonna have to do the soul stirring ladle section well, because that's when he gets Administrator Part 2, right?
Yeah.
But like, so weird. And that's a side note. I want to talk about that for a moment, just real quick. For those of you who don't remember, if you haven't watched it in a while, the administrator of the first floor, the floor of the test, tells Bam, he's like, this is not a contract for you. These are shackles, you know? And then when he has the fight in the, with the crown fight, which you saw in like what, episode 3 or 4?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Shinsu erupts and Leroro literally goes, that wasn't him using Shinsu. That was Shinsu itself protecting him. And so you have these things where like you have the character showing flashes of literal God and you don't know what it is. And I'm really hoping they maintain that like as well, and they find a good way to do the I'm thinking moments. A la, remember, like I always bring this up when I talk about making sure a character's inner dialogue is done well. I always go back to Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game and the way that book translated to the movie, you know?
Yeah.
Like almost 80% of that book is done in Ender's head. And the way they translated that to movie, especially with Graph and these other things, like was really well done. So I really hope that when they do the anime, they have moments of allowing it to be spoken out loud, but also these like they keep the moments in their head. And you can do that really well in anime because like we're so used to anime having in-head conversations with themselves.
Yeah, having,
you know, like movies less so, you know. Yeah, like movies less so, you know, like when we're doing realistic movies, we really try and stay away from that. But with anime, like we really embellish that at some level. So I'm really hoping we get that too, because like some of those conversations that Bam has, like I want to see the tea party. Like you have, like I just want to see the tea party. I want to see the tea party. Like, chat, you don't get that reference, but once you get there, unless you've read all the way through, and then you know what I'm talking about with the tea party. But we call it the tea party. You're gonna get there and you're gonna love it. It's very much we didn't we call Slime Sakai Rimuru. We called Rimuru's thing the tea party too. It's literally like that's literally what it is. Both of them are literally just like tea party. Like let's have a party in my soul, dudes. And so I'm really excited to see them get there and see how they do that, because that's going to be fun. I really want to hear who they have for their voices too, you know?
Yeah.
Because we haven't heard Urek's voice. And like you can totally haven't heard Crockett's voice. Like there's a couple really big characters that like I have voices in my head for that I really don't want to get fucked up because the casting is weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have
like
a
Bam's voice worked
in mind, like for Wang Nan and for a lot of the characters, and I'm like, please
don't fuck this up. Like Kaiser, like even Kaiser has a voice, you know, like yes.
Kaiser has a
Shakira going on almost.
She's German. I have a different voice in my mind.
Yeah,
for her.
but you understand what I'm talking about, the lilting at the end, like the lilting Shakira breath, like because German can do breathy.
Yeah,
you know?
I like picture her as like Heidi Klum, but like that. Younger.
Yeah, I could hear that. Yeah. I just don't want all these voices to get fucked up.
Yeah, I just
like I want like Jihad's voice better be like, I don't want Jiren. You know what I mean? Like Super's Jiren. Like that's who I'd reserve for like who's our Devil's right arm guy. I don't remember his name right now. With the Devil's right arm, I can totally hear having Jiren's voice. You know what I mean?
The other person imagine having Jiren's voice is the
Caliban?
mask. I mean, yeah, but like
I wouldn't
when
hear
I think-
Caliban with that voice though. I thought about it for a second and I said it and then I was like, no. Like Caliban's too withheld to have that deep of a monstrous voice.
I just want Caliban to be in the dub be voiced by Chris Sabat, because that's the American voice I have pictured for him.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like I could see it, but I don't feel like it's. I love Chris Sabat. I really do. I don't know if it's regal enough for Caliban because I think there's an element of royalty to Caliban, if that makes sense.
I think he's more of a meathead.
No,
Personally.
I think he's too. No, especially
No,
after his
he's definitely
conversations
more
that
of a
he's had.
meathead.
Too many of the conversations that he had with Ginseng Ha. And the
Here's
and
the thing is, have you heard some of Chris Sabat's other work?
yeah, I just don't know. Like I'm just picturing it. I want to make sure that it's like there's enough of that. Like
I don't think anyone could do Caliban's voice other than Chris Sabat.
that's. I guess I'll have to go listen a little bit more because like I hear it as like a blend of like that Baki kind of confidence, soft spoken, but also like the Chris Sabat, Vegeta, All Might.
I don't.
You hear
want
what I'm saying?
Vegeta.
No,
My
I
thing is,
agree. That's the thing.
I don't want dub Vegeta, and I don't want dub All Might.
Yeah.
What I want is I want Chris Sabat to do his best Chris Sabat. Because when you hear Chris Sabat talk about things, he's so poised and like well put together
And warm.
and warm.
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's what I
the voice
want.
that
I just
picture.
like that's why I'm trying to
the voice
make sure that like I don't know if I want Chris Sabat to do that because he gets into a voice and I want it to be almost organic.
That's
know?
the thing is,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
he just spoke as
Yeah.
himself,
Yes, I agree.
that's the Chris Sabat that I picture as Caliban, and so I'm like, that's what I'm looking forward to.
I wonder what Ginseng Ha's voice is gonna be.
If
That has
Ginseng
to be
Ha is
Dad. That's just like who's Dad? Like
Matt Mercer for the dub. Matt Mercer would put on such a good Ginseng Ha, and you know it.
yes, I can't. There's nothing to say. You can't say anything but that.
Like, I'm gonna go find some of my favorite Ginseng Ha quotes, and we're just gonna read them out loud. And we can
it has to be perfect. It has to be like because Ginseng Ha is Dad. You know.
Yeah,
Like it just. Oh, I know who I want the Japanese voice actor for to do Caliban. Beerus. Whoever did Beerus in Dragon Ball, I could hear the Japanese voice actor for Beerus doing Caliban. Because he has that kind of like lax little bit of a fun thing to him while also being able to like get down super like, you know, for example, like when he shows up and like grabs Bam's hand and is like, so you're the one Ginseng Ha was protecting, you know, with that slight undertone of when Beerus is like about to do the Hakai thing all the time, you know,
Yeah.
like I could picture that there.
yeah. He's also the voice of like. I'm going through his acting credits currently. Sorry.
You're good.
Akihiko Kayaba from SAO.
Oh, yeah, no, I could see it.
Um,
Yep. I just want to make sure that there's enough of like a repertoire there to like have my character be brought to life. And and to be fair to everybody listening, I do have to say it is my headcanon. So like I will like relent my headcanon for something that presents itself, you know?
also the voice of Gentle Criminal, and that's why I can like I could put him as like Caliban, or I could put him as Ginseng Ha and be okay.
Yeah.
Because the voice he did for Gentle Criminal is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yep.
Like
I'm just
absolutely chef's kiss every time.
Yep. What else are we like thinking that needs to be done for season 2 to do well and be proper?
Honestly, and I hadn't thought about it. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, who would I really want voicing Wang Nan? But it's Kazuya. Okay. Think about it this way.
Mm-hmm.
for the first season, Wang Nan is that annoying motherfucker who is too reliant on everyone else and has no real sense of self.
Kazura or Subaru?
Kazuya from Rent-A-Girlfriend.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, like, there's two characters that you were talking about. And I was like, we could also talk about, like, Subaru. I would see Subaru as the little prince dude. I would see Subaru as Prince.
See, as Prince for sure,
Yeah.
but I think
But I see what
for
you're saying.
Wang Nan,
Yeah.
I think it's Kazuya.
I don't know if he has enough of a hard tone. We'd have to see what he does with it, but I can see what you're
He
saying.
does have a hard tone. He's been in a lot of things.
I just don't know what else he's done. So,
Shunhori has been in
question for
re-
English dub for Wagnon, or for oh my goodness, I'm forgetting my characters here. Good lord, you're gonna have to make me go look at
Okay,
characters.
I have a question. Have you seen Death March?
No.
Okay, it's an isekai. He's the main character in that. He's I want to say he's Asta.
Mm-hmm. You know who I want to see for? I just totally forgot his name. Good lord, why am I doing this right now? It's really bothering me.
Oh, he was Takashita in Sing Yesterday for me too.
Oh, who voices White?
Oh, White, that is absolutely every single time the voice of All for One.
Really?
Okay.
I
You're
heard
telling me.
I heard much like I get where you're going with it. I heard a much lighter tone. I heard this like super like
I want this gravelly, just absolutely full of himself motherfucker.
I wanted the opposite of that. I heard like that super duper light, like everybody would make friends with that voice. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time have all of the like, I am above you all. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like that kind. You hear what I'm doing right there? Like the like super casual. Like I'm like I don't know. Like your swordplay, man. Like you just look. I need you to do it this way. Kind of thing. Except a little more deep and gravelly. But like I still want that kind of like soft spoken tone because that's almost all what he's always talking like. He's like you remember when he's teaching Hatsu. He's like,
Okay,
but look, you're not putting your hips into it. You're doing it this way. Why are you doing that? You're a horrible swordsman. But he's like doing it in this like conversational, casual tone that doesn't make me think of like a super deep, gravelly, full of himself. It's just a very stately matter of fact. Like,
but Paul, here's the other thing: is this voice actor is incredibly well rounded.
Yeah.
Just saw him in another show.
That's
like
fair.
we literally just finished it.
That's fair.
He's Jukai from Dororo. So he can do the stately and also be the gravelly motherfucker.
I'd love to see what he comes up with it for it.
Exactly.
I want to make sure that like with White, what I was getting across is more the tonality and the way he speaks, I think, which is like this very it's not like a you remember when Jiren's talking like in Super at the very beginning and he's like, I'm just above you. Like,
yeah.
Bleh. Like that's not White. Kind of, that's not White until he like gets all of his power and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm back, bitches.
I'm not thinking of the White that we meet on the Hell Train. I'm thinking of the White that we see more in season 3, where he's just above you.
Yeah.
Like, and he's just looking down on everyone.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like,
I want to make sure. I want to make sure with that like he even when he's doing that though, it's almost this playful thing. It's not like he's. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But I can see exactly what you're saying, and I agree. I'm just like, man's is playful. You know, like it's perfect.
But the thing is, like we've seen him, like, and the voice actor that I'm talking about, Akio Utsuka. Has literally his acting credits are longer than my life.
Oh, I know who I want to do
Like,
English. Okay, you ready for English?
who?
Caliban? Whoever did Shiru Emiya. I want to see Archer. I want to see that voice for Caliban in English. Because
like
it's too perfect. He has this like casual laid back and then he's like no. Like full on like the moment he starts fighting Lancer and you hear that voice come out and you're like, "Oh, shit got serious." And like I can hear that transition perfectly well with that Caliban moment of like, "Oh, Ginseng Ha, we're actually fighting now." like okay, like I guess I got to put my back into it now, and I feel like that's very much that position.
Yeah, because like my other thought for Ginseng Ha was Akio Utsuka, because of like if
Yep.
I don't know, I can go down this list and I can guarantee you haven't seen most of it, but I have, and he's like also the voice of Thorkel from Vinland Saga, and like I can picture Thorkel's voice. I can picture Zoria from the Seven Deadly Sins movie.
Yep. Who do we get with Urek?
Urek? Oh my god.
Actually,
Urek?
Shiro.
I want
Shiro. No, I want Shiro's voice for Urek. Like not Archer, Shiro.
I don't love Shiro's voice for Urek. That's my problem. Is like
In the English or the Japanese?
When I think of Urek, I think of this like I don't want the Jiren voice, but I want Jiren's voice actor to come up with the, well, I know that I'm fucking insane, thank you very much, and that I'm all powerful and basically a god. But I'm also a playful like
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
mortal 26-year-old basically.
I just don't hear his voice being that deep.
I do. He's fucking huge, dude. He's swole as shit.
He's like
The amount of testosterone that runs through his body is enormous.
what's 195 centimeters? That's what, 6'2"? I'm trying to convert based on my Haikyuu knowledge. Like 191 is like 6 foot or something like that.
He's 6'5".
Okay, I was close.
He's 6'5" and probably weighs 240. Easy.
I don't.
Easily 240, if not 275, and is shredded.
Yeah, but like when I look at Urek, I hear more of like a who am I thinking of and who plays football? I'm thinking more of like a Tom Brady-ish voice, which is like little softer, little playboy, little like, but at the time, like when you like get into those low tones and you're kind of quieter at rumbles, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm kind of catching that, because like even him being who he is, I want it to be like he's just playfully fun. I don't think that voice like fits that.
I mean, Jiren is less than 6 feet tall, so like that's the thing is I think he could find a way to like take Jiren's voice and shift it up, an octave.
Yeah. So very much like Mahershala Ali did when he did the Green Book.
Mm-hmm.
Like the man's voice originally is like super deep, but Mahershala is like another 1.5 feet taller than him. He was like, so I can't speak that down there. It would look off for the character. So I get what you're saying. I just like that's what I'm thinking about.
He could shift the tone up.
Yeah.
And still have that like gravel.
Yeah.
And that of like, yeah, I'm fucking huge. Yeah, I'm beating shit out of you.
Like, because the scenes that I picture that voice and needing it to be proper is when he meets Lopobia Gustang. Maybe it's Gustang, right? Like, I don't picture that being like a down in the dirt conversation. I picture that being a mild mid-tone conversation between two all-powerful beings who are kind of like, what the fuck are you doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't feel like the gravel amongst that character presents itself well there. But I totally get what you're saying.
Oh yeah, Pobedao Gustang. When I picture him,
it's a higher super intellectual, slightly nasally voice.
Like the voice that I picture for him in English is like somewhere between Leonard from Big Bang Theory and Sherlock. You know, like
Yeah.
hyper intellectual,
Yeah.
somewhere between like very composed and not at all.
Yeah.
Like I need the mix of like
I mean,
I'm too
just give me the
smart for my
Benedict
own good,
Cumberbatch.
and
Just
I'm
give
too
me
smart for literally everyone.
just give me the Benedict Cumberbatch voice. That's all I need.
I don't know if that's the voice that I really want for him, but
But
there was another Sherlock series that was on CBS, I think. That like
I could totally hear like almost a David Tennant,
David Tennant, I think would be fine,
but he doesn't do anime acting.
but he's too playful at times. He can be very serious. Or yeah, Elementary. That was the show I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Johnny Lee Miller, like that.
Yeah.
The character he plays as Sherlock is how I picture Poe Gustang.
Yeah.
Like he's just too smart for everyone else in the room, and sometimes he's too smart for his own good,
Yeah.
and it gets him in trouble.
What do you picture Jihad's voice as?
Oh, Jihad's voice? I want a squeaker. I want an absolute squeaker for young Jihad, and I want something absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Just like absolutely
Almost like
fear-inducing.
Skuna, almost like Skuna's from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah. Ryomen Sukuna's voice is like how I picture Jihad at his current state. But
Yeah.
like I can picture Yuji Itadori as young Jihad.
Really?
Like that tone of voice.
Yeah.
Like a little bit higher, a little bit more playful.
Yeah.
Like definitely very immature compared to like
him
where
current self. Yeah. Well, like I could definitely see that being the one when when he and Bam are fighting inside the hidden floor.
Yeah.
Like definitely
That's
that. Yeah, it'd be like a little bit
like-
deeper, but yeah. I see what you're saying. It's just like a
Well,
little bit of yeah.
No, I think that like the VA for Yuji would be a absolutely
Yes.
perfect fit for young Jihad.
I just saying bring his tone a little bit down instead of like more of like a
Yeah.
just the slight tonal shift, but I definitely yeah. I was like Skuna sounds like, cuz like I every time I think of Jihad's voice and I picture what I want it to sound like, it's nothing from the rest of the show. It's literally the end point where like fucking Kel meets him when they're like trying to ambush him and he goes, "No, I am king." And like that's the only thing I picture. I don't care about anything else. That is the only line I need from the entirety of season 3 when it gets animated to be proper for Jihad. That's it. Don't give a shit about anything else. Like the fight between Bam and them, that's a little off. That's on purpose. But I need the I am king voice and the big Jihad voice being like, and you thought I wasn't going to, like I need those two sections to be like flawless because that encapsulates who Jihad is as a character and is like, look, I get it. You thought you were smarter than me. I really do. But you're dumb. Like, he's like, I am God. I am I am omniscient. I am omnipotent. And I am like, and you're just like, oh, my bad. Sorry, dude. Like, and that's what everybody does. Like, except for Bam, because he's like, I'm coming to kill you, you motherfucker. Like Bam, and then Kun Adon, because he's like, he's a dick now. Like God, like how'd you turn into this dick? He looks at young Jihad, and he's like, what'd you do? Like why?
What happened?
Where is this disconnect?
How did this happen?
And that's
You
what I
made a mistake. You fucked up, and now you need to fucking fix it.
like. And that's the funny part about like when young Jihad talks to older Jihad. He's like, why don't you just go on this stupidly cool adventure, albeit with the guy who wants to kill you, but still. And Jihad's like, you don't know anything, which is true. Like young Jihad knows nothing compared to 3,000 years.
Yeah, Jihad from atop the tower at this point has become very jaded. He's very cynical.
I mean, like, he's also the strongest person except for Phantomanium and Enryu. But that's also because nobody actually knows the strength of those two people. Other than that, Jihad is the king. Like, there's a reason he is king.
He has become paranoid. He's like, it's been 5,000 years of him leading this, like, and multiple attempts at ending his life. he has to at some point have become very paranoid that the person that he expects to come back from the grave is coming for him.
Well, so this is the other part that
And he knows that this person is now in the tower and that they're on their way up. He has to have, like, by the time you get to the hidden floor and you see the current Jihad look at the memory of Jihad being like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, straight up, you're the dumbest person in the room right now. That guy is literally here to kill us.
And young Jihad's like, but I had fun.
It's like, okay, yeah, no, he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And he may be omnipotent. He's still going to be paranoid because every single thing, all of his paracausal power can be warped around at any point in time by the
this is the interesting point though. Do they know about the Axis? Because we've never.
I would not be surprised if Jihad was well aware of who Fantanium was and what Enryu was doing.
Like, yes, but I'm talking about, like, everybody else is going, why is Jihad freaking out? Why is Jihad trying to kill this person so badly? Like, I'm pretty sure Wagnon probably knows.
There's a lot of... Well, here's the thing is, Jihad locked the top 5 floors of the tower away from everyone.
Yeah.
Unless you gather all the 13-month series, you can never... And the rings from the princes, you can never open the doors to 135 and above.
Yep.
It's a top 139, and it's like, he's got to be like, Fantanium has to be somewhere in those top 5 floors.
Well, so this is the thing. He just showed up, wiped the floor with his entire guard, like the elite of the elite. Like, he walked in, wiped their asses, and disappeared.
Yeah, and he's just biding his time, watching the whole thing go down.
So, like,
You know.
the only thing we know about Phantomanium is he's an Axis.
Yeah.
So,
And, like, that's the problem, is we don't have a whole lot of information on him, based on where we are in the story and what
so
what SIU has given us.
to give the reader some context, to listeners some context too, if you haven't read super far, we're officially right now on chapter 484.
I'll look.
I believe
485, in fact.
485. We're still not even close to the end.
Literally not at all. Like, we're
on floor 77. Floor 77.
Yeah, it's because we skipped a whole bunch.
Yep, because the Hell Train went from Florida up to 75 or 70. It was in somewhere in the 70s because that's where the stop was, and then from there you're supposed to keep climbing. Long story short, Jihad's at 135. Like, we're only halfway through this ride, you know, and we.
Sorry. I'm pulling up Hell Train stuff.
Okay.
Well, no. Right before the end of the Hell Train is the Floor of Death, and that's floor 43.
Yes.
It only goes to like floor 45, if I'm correct.
Which floor are they on right now then?
Give me a moment.
I don't remember because no, floor 77 is the Wyholic song.
Yeah.
It's not where it is. I don't remember right now then. Long story short, we're climbing the tower pretty slowly. We're 400, almost 500 chapters in, and we're only in the 70 somethings. Like, this story is gonna go for like the next. I mean, it's been going since 2014 officially, right? In Webtoon.
Yeah.
We're 6 years later, and we're still not even halfway through.
Yeah. No.
Like, and I am just stoked to see where it goes from here. I want to see Enryu because SIU has said he's also the most attractive character in the entire series.
Yeah. 452.
52. Thank you.
Like, They have not made it very far.
No,
Yeah, because the 44th floor is the last station on the Hell Train.
you're right. So I'm just excited to see where that is. I really want to see Wagnon and the rest of the crew reunite with Bam, except I'm worried about the sword that he was given. That is a sword from Jihad to kill Bam, and then he's going to have to do things. It's going to be real interesting. I think Jihad, Zahard, however you want to say it. I just like Jihad better. That's just me.
Yeah, it's just easier.
Yeah. I think he's playing all the angles on purpose. He's playing the stop Bam directly, the maybe he just kills me, and the I'm gonna get my son to do the dirty work.
Yeah,
But I'd also think Wagnon is entirely so fundamentally different from him that he's gonna take that sword and be like, "What do you mean? I'm a prodigy. I'm the son of the king. Like, what do you think that if I suddenly decide to join with Bam, you think we just won't walk up the tower and kill you?" And to be fair, Wagnon's been really weak up until this point. Like, that's one of the things about his character that's really interesting, is because he's so weak. But I just want to see where it goes. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's gonna be November.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Hold on. I want to figure out where we are real quick, guys, just to like hit the ground running, because I love this series so much. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's right. Caliban and the rest of them just broke through the wall.
Yeah,
we're going to get Dad back. That's right.
They're going to go get Jin Sung Hob out of the cage.
He still has arms.
He's father at least one arm.
He what?
He's father at least one arm. We can't guarantee that he has both, but he has at least one.
Yes. I just hope he teaches Bam to do the thing.
Yeah,
because I just want to see the thing, Bam do the thing, because he already mastered Ha style martial arts, and you tack that on top of Black March, and the Souls, and both administrators.
Yeah, the blue and red Thrissa, like.
So the interesting point is, Thrissa just technically code name for an administrator? Are the administrators just Thrissa as like a being? All we know that it is a broken off part of the administrator, which is the red one, which is the red Thrissa, right? But like, I don't know why we'd call the blue Thrissa if it, you know what I'm saying?
Well, no. So the Thrissa are divine sea fish, so they technically could be
interesting
administrators, but they're not typically.
Okay, Red Thrissa is a fearsome creature that shares its name with the Shinya, known as the tower's top predators. Interesting. So specifically, the history says that it was power had properties similar to that of a guardian.
Yeah.
Let me read what the Shinya is technically. Okay, the divine sea fish.
Yeah,
okay.
Like.
Interesting. So it's not as if it's necessarily a guardian, part of an administrator, but in the novel it specifically states that it's a broken off part of the administrator.
Yeah, like it came from its corpse, so it's most likely an administrator, but it's not necessarily.
So it's closer to the part of the dead guard. Oh, okay. Here. This is the comment from him. Eric Manzino said that the monster is born of the deceased 43rd Guardian's corpse. So Guardian being the administrators.
Yeah.
Essentially being its child, but SIU commented that it was closer to a part of the dead Guardian rather than its cub or a offspring, thus remaining as powerful as it is. Can't speak without a host and bleeds a green colored blood. Interesting. So I just want to see what that ends up being like, because we still don't understand what Bam's specific is there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just know that he has all of these things in him now. So it's really interesting. I don't want to spoil too much else about specific things because we're kind of like being slightly vague, except for like very specific notes. I just want people to read it because it's still one of my favorites. Hands down. No questions asked.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
It's
like this
sweet.
this is on par with Lord of the Rings and Star Wars to me.
That's
Like,
fair. It's pretty sick.
I mean, I was talking generally in terms of like world depth
Oh
and
yeah,
space.
definitely in terms
Like,
of world.
you
It's
know,
it
it's yet to be seen if this is going to be like on par with that story lineally, right? But like if we're talking about like scale of the world, the depth of the world, like character nuance, etc., like it's certainly on par with some of the greatest works of all time. Like,
hmm
incidentally enough, like I just reread Dune, right? And like all of the character notes from Tower have notes of the hallmarks of like great characters that have been written before. You know, like for example, Paul Atreides like has this note of not necessarily revenge for his father at some level when he goes off and becomes like one of the freemen. It's like, I'm going to be these people and I will be their savior. And Bam's note really isn't like, and has never been like, I'm going to go avenge my mother. It's, I'm climbing the tower to save the people and like to become all that I can be because I don't even know who I am. You know what I mean? Like, and so you have these character notes that end up in the process of their hero's journey become a legend. You know what I mean?
hmm
And it's all of this fun stuff. So we've taken up 50 minutes of the people's time
Yeah, we have.
on a point 0.5 episode that I totally didn't expect to be this long.
Absolutely not.
But all I enjoy doing is talking Tower and implications and voice acting, where they should go, and hopefully what they do. And we'll get comfy on for another one of these at some point because Nate loves this just as much as we do, and he has some differing opinions from both of us because he's a different person. So we'll catch you guys for the next 0.5 sometime here shortly. Give Nate all the best wishes on his move, and we'll catch you next time. Stay safe, be smart, wear your masks. Have a good one.